Hey everyone, I just want to make this short video. It's kind of like your homework. When you come to art class next time, I want to use this oil-based clay with you. A couple of things. Make sure when you go to use it, you are working on a non-porous surface like plastic. So right now my table I have at home, this is one of those fold-up tables. It's plastic. This is not going to stain it. If you were to put this onto, like, say, a wooden table or a tablecloth, it is going to start to stain it. Another great option, if you have a placemat at home, you can work on one of these. That's a great surface to work on, or maybe an old plastic plate. That would work great too. And then as far as tools that you'll need, some of you might have these at home. If you purchase them, these are a set of clay tools. Plastic, not too sharp, not dangerous. You can get these ready. If you don't have those, that is not a big deal, because you can look around your house and I bet you can find a bunch of stuff to use to help with clay. So if you don't have this tool at home, that shape, you could use a paper clip. I don't have one with me right now, but paper clips are a great tool to use. If you don't have any wooden tools that are shaped like this, use a popsicle stick. I looked around my house. I found some plastic silverware. Those are great tools for clay. A little spoon, an old pen cap, an old pen. You can use that point. And a great versatile tool for everybody. A simple little toothpick goes a long way. I might use that a lot in this project. So before we start class, make sure you have a space to work on that's plastic, non-porous, and some tools either from around your house to help like manipulate the clay, or if you have a set of clay tools, you can use that. Another tool you should have with you as you're working, a paper towel or a napkin. Your hands will get a little bit of the oil on them and they can start to get a little bit slippery. It's nice to have a paper towel or a napkin to kind of wipe it off. Okay, so everyone should have a pack of this at home. I gave this in your take-home pack. Yours is probably different than mine. I think yours has different colors in it. It doesn't really matter too much. Might be a little bit different than mine, but it works the same. So this is oil-based clay. I really like it because it never dries out. So you can always like restart and make new things with it. So you can start to open it up. You'll have 4 sticks inside, different colors. Put that away. And the tools that we'll be using today, we're mostly going to use our hands to create this Chinese dragon. I'm also going to work off of this here. I have these images of a Chinese dragon. It's nice to have a couple to look at to sort of base your model off of while you're working. I might pull this back into the video a couple of times. So you have all these different colors. I know yours might be different at home. If you look at the bodies of these Chinese dragons, there is a lot of color on them, which could be a lot of fun. But if you look at their bodies are mainly one color. So to start off, choose one color to be most of your body and your head. So I'm going to go with gray for mine. Now, when you go to open this up, I can actually feel mine. It's like a little bit slippery. It's got that oil. You might see my fingers like shining a little bit. And this is why we want to use and work on a plastic surface. Now here's my clay. You'll notice at first it might feel a little bit like rough and tough. I'm going to take just half of it. I'm not going to use all this clay today. And if you kind of work with it like this with your hands, it'll start to get soft. You can take little pieces of it off like this, might be easier. Pull off some small pieces and sort of work it in your fingers like this and get it a little bit softer. It actually starts to get like a little bit warm, and it makes it a little bit easier to use. All right, so now that I'm done with that, again, this is about half of a block of clay here. I'm gonna take this, and I think I'm gonna start off with the head of this Chinese dragon. So I'm gonna take my clay, and I put a few pieces together, just using this rolling technique in your hands like this. Starts to get it pretty solid. I gotta add a little bit more, make this a little bit bigger. So it's a little different than regular clay. You have to work a little harder to join it. This will join a little bit easier. So now I've been doing this. The clay is really worked up. It's kind of soft now. It's in a good workable state. So my next step is to form the head. I'm going to kind of just take this and tap it on my table. So it's kind of like a rectangle almost. And this is going to become the head of my Chinese dragon. I'm going to make it a little bit pointy at one end. So I'm just going to pull it a little bit. There we go. So this is going to be the nose, the snout over here in his mouth. And then the top of his head and his eyes are going to be back here. I'll add a body and a tail on later. So there's my first step. For the top of the head, they usually have their eyes and foreheads a little bit raised up. I think I've read that they do that because the Chinese dragon has wisdom. And this will kind of be the top of the forehead. So I'm going to take this little piece here. I'm just going to roll it in my fingers a little bit. So it kind of looks like a cylinder. And I'm going to add that up here. This is going to be like my dragon's forehead. You can see it's not really joined together yet, so I'm just going to use my fingers. So far, that's the only tool I've used. The tools sort of come towards the end. So if you don't have any tools right now, that's okay too. All right, so I'm working my fingers in there. I'm trying to join this together. So it looks nice and smooth and solid, one piece. All right, so there's the beginning of my dragon head.